is to go over the rbiEXPERT product, and on your website you'll be able to do any of the things that I am going to talk about today at any of the different geographic levels. So right now I'm at the overall regional level for my Florida regional MLS, but I can choose one of the different regions, or I can choose one of the different counties or one of the different zip codes, and depending upon your MLS you have up to 1,000 zip codes that we have with statistics for you. So you can choose any one of these and do any of the things that I am going to go over today. First thing I'm going to talk about a little bit though is this first dashboard, but the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to first choose a county to look more specifically at a little bit more granular of a look. When I look at the Orange County area, and that's it gives me the dashboard for that particular area. The dashboard gives me the information that is seasonal for the last 5 years. I'm currently looking at the November 2013 data, so when I'm looking at all the information on this dashboard, it has to do with November data for the past 5 years. The leftmost value of your gauge is 5 years ago, the minimum value for the 5 years. The rightmost value is the maximum value for the 5 years. The colored value is the average during those 5 Novembers, and then the needle is the current November. So from that standpoint, it provides you a good look and takes seasonality into place. So you can see, for instance, here that active listings are starting to build, and even though that's pretty normal during the winter months, this is a higher level than one of the previous 5 Novembers. So you want to be able to look a little bit more granular using some of the other information on our site to see why that might be happening, or to keep on top of it and looking at it from month to month to see if it continues. There's more than just these 4 market activity gauges. If you use the right arrow over here, you can scroll to the right and look at pieces of information such as median and average sale price, as well as the sale to original list price ratio. And if you continue to click, you can also see some additional metrics like days on market. Depending upon the market you're in, you might also see dollars per square footage. So there's various different market gauges that are available here for you to be able to use. We'll be coming back to that a little bit later after I explain how to put things on your website. We're going to actually place one of our market gauges on our website. But right now I'm just giving the navigation of the site. We have our summary information here, and again it gives you the snapshot for the current month, which at the moment is November 2013, gives the year-over-year comparison as well as the prior month. So the information is listed there to be able to see whether things are moving in a positive or a negative manner, and so that you can see what the state of the market is. We also have a nice little contract snapshot here that gives you the information from your closed sales versus all of the pending information. Now, your MLS might have different statuses that represent a pending status. It could be under contract, but taking backups, or maybe contingents. All of those are lumped in together to be this value here so that you can see what's going on. I'm going to move down a little bit further to give you a little bit more look as to what's going on. A new tab that we just added along with the market gauges back in October was this Explore tab. So I'm going to start here first and then work my way over to some of the other tabs. Within Orange County, these are all the different zip codes that are available for statistics. And right now I'm looking at the median sold price metric, but there's 5 others here that I can look at as well. Now I can click on the header of any one of these columns to be able to sort. So right here I could see the top few zip codes, and this would be able to give you a great idea as what to share in your marketing campaigns, or maybe your social media campaigns, or to talk about in a newsletter, or maybe a blog article. So what you could do is pick the top 3 zip codes each month and concentrate on them and talk to your customers, or maybe quite the opposite. Talk about some of the bottom ones to be able to tell people what's going on in the market, or even just randomly the ones in the middle. You could also sort by the change from last year, which takes seasonality into place. Maybe you want to talk about the biggest movers, or the changes from last month as well. So because of seasonality aspects, you might want to look at the numbers next to each other to see who has good numbers in both the year-over-year comparison as well as the monthly, and talk about some of those areas. So this one gives you the median sold price, but we also have the average days on market. You can see where things are moving either slowly or where things are moving quickly and maybe highlight that. So here's a whole bunch that are under 50 days in this particular area, and you might want to highlight them in a blog article. If you wanted to look at the details of any one of these, you would just click on the hyperlink and it'll show you the information. Now, unlike some of the other metrics, days on market going down is perceived as a good thing from a market perspective. So the fact that there's a lot of negative numbers here is not necessarily a bad item, and you would want to probably sort this in ascending order to look at the ones that are having the greatest drops in days on market. A lot of that has to do with the influx of short sales and foreclosures over the past few years. Those were taking a long time to sell, and so sometimes the days on market are decreasing dramatically because of how well everybody is now adapting to those processes and the homes that are listed. Sold to original list price ratio, this is a great one to be able to work with to find where areas there might be bargains or anything like that. You might be working with some investors, so you might want to look down at the lower level to be able to look and see which areas might represent some more bargains. Now, just because it's a lower ratio doesn't mean it's necessarily a bargain. Higher priced homes also tend to have the lower ones because you have more wiggle room with price, right? So a $1 million home, somebody can definitely offer 90%. So that might be why some of these have lower price ratios. So you want to take that into account as you look at the data. Closed sales is another metric that just so that you can see where things are selling, and then the upcoming sales, where your new pendings are, showing you the differences of what's there, and then also the new listings is available here to see where the inventory is coming in as we move forward. So from that standpoint, you're able to explore, just like I said in the name of the tab, to be able to look at things and again, get some ideas for social media campaigns, newsletters. Any one of the different areas that you want to look at, say if I looked at median sold price again and I want to look at the top one, I could just drill down by clicking on the hyperlink here to be able to look at that particular zip code to see what's going on. And one thing I do want to consider, since it is a high price, I always want to make sure that there was enough sales representative of that area to give support. Sometimes there's a zip code that only has one sale, and if it was an expensive sale, it makes it look like that zip code has a very high median or average sale price. So you do want to take that into consideration as well. I'm going to come back to Orange County. And so the Explore tab, like I said, gives you all that information and is new, just like the market gauges were in October. So I'm going to go to the left here and next use the Reports tab. We have two different reports that are available in PDF format to you so that you can take them, print them, send them out to different people, and look at the information accordingly. I have a question right now. It says, is this only Orange County? Yes, right now I'm only looking at the Orange County data, but again, like I said at the beginning, you can do this for any of the different geographic areas that are available in your MLS, the counties, the zip codes, and depending upon your system, you may be able to look at it by city. So the detailed information here, we have a report that's available for November 2013, and depending upon your MLS, the information will go back all the way 5, 6, 7, 8 years. In this case, you can go back to all the way to 2005 to look at the data. And you say, well, gee, why would I want to print one out that way? Well, if you were going on a listing presentation and the person bought their house in, say, 2007, you would want to generate the report for when they bought their home, as well as today when they're thinking about selling, so that you can explain to them the differences in the economy and what has changed compared to then. But right now, just to tell you about the report, I'm going to go ahead and generate this month's report. So this is the information to be able to show you for Orange County on the detailed report. It has a lot of numbers on it, gives you a lot of great information, and very much like the website, it gives you the information that's available on the website that I went over at the beginning. So these figures are actually on the website. I showed it to you in the summary area. Goes over the sold price and the units sold. But down below we give you a few more ratios to give you list price ratios as well as original list price ratios. And then also we break down the prices here by attached and detached, because again, you have your average sold prices are at $200,000, but when you break it down, detached homes are going for $232,000 and attached homes are going for $134,000. If you have any question as to what any of the terms mean, they're usually defined here on the report as well. So each MLS is different from that standpoint, so you want to be able to look at what those include. Over here to the right is the inventory section, and this first number tells you your active inventory at the end of the month of November. So I'm looking at November 2013 statistics. So on November 30th in your MLS, if you did an active count for Orange County listings, you would have received that there was 4,700 listings available. This last number, the same thing. If I went and looked for my under contracts and contingent listings and did a count at the end of November, on November 30th, I would have seen that there were 4,500 listings waiting to go to settlement. These 4 items in between where it says new are the activity that happened during the month. So from November 1st through November 30th, there were 1,700 listings that came on the market, and then there were also 1,800 listings that went under contract. So you actually have a very good churn going on in this area right now, and the fact that more listings are going under contract than listings coming in. So it's eating away at your active inventory from that standpoint. It also gives you the information based upon financing so that you might be able to look and see whether or not there's a lot of cash sales. That could be for investors. If you're working with some investors, you might want to look for areas where they have a high concentration of cash sales to show that there's some opportunities for them. And then also the days on market, just to see what the market's like. You can see a huge amount of sales here are in that 1 to 10 day, and then right behind it are these other areas under 60 days. Few outliers, 1 to 2 years, and then a couple of sales down here for more than 2 years. That's usually always true in every area that I've looked at, whether it's the hottest market in the country or not. What happens is there's always that one listing that either sat on the market. It could be a $5 million property and sat on the market for 2 years, or it was just a property not in great condition and took a while to sell. So, but you do want to have that in there because you want to know about that, just because there might be a property that is in a particular zip code or something that might offset the days on market for the rest of the ones. So then I scroll down and I see the sold information by detail, and we break this down by bedroom as well as by home type so that you can see where things are moving and understand a little bit more about the activity. I mean, I look here and I see my highest number is in that $150,000 to $200,000 range in the single family homes, and I see that there's 95 homes right here that sold with 3 bedrooms. I can also see my average sale prices down here broken down at the very bottom for me, and look at the information accordingly. Over here it also tells me my active listings, so I know what's going on and how much inventory I'm being held for. For instance, I look at these higher price homes in the $800,000 range, and I've got 7 homes sold here, 1 home sold, so I had 8 houses sell, but I have 100 listings in there, actually 107. So I have well over almost 15 months worth of inventory available at this price range. So if somebody was about to sell their house, I would be able to explain that to them. Whereas if I come up here and I look at some of the information, I'm able to tell people, well, the single family homes, I've got 95 selling here and 60, so about 150. I only have about 3 months worth of inventory when I look at that 434 number. So by doing that number, I'm able to tell people that things are moving fairly quickly. From a buyer's perspective, you want to tell them that they need to, be considerate about what the list price is. And from a prospective seller, you need their home to put it on the market because there's not a lot of inventory. So you can see where the breakdown is occurring and where inventory might be needed and where things are actually selling all side by side in one place. So you're able to see the information. Okay. So this is our detailed report. Again, like I said, it is the information associated with the properties from within your MLS and breaks it down at a more granular basis. Right. I'm going to come back here. We have the local market insight report. This uses the same exact numbers as this report, but it gives it to you in a little bit of different fashion. I'm going to break it down by those different home types, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the Go button to be able to look at the information here. And if you have the rbiEXPERT product, this report is branded for you. It has the same numbers as the previous report, but in a completely different format. So I have a cover page here, and like I said, if you have an rbiEXPERT product, it'll be branded with your name, your phone number, your email address, and things like that. I move down here and I can see the Orange County information that I had on the report. Shows me quick indicators with red and green arrows as to what's going on so that you can see what's moving and shaking. Gives you some year-to-date information as well, and also gives you a seasonal average for a 5-year November average as well. Shows you the information here, gives you a nice little chart here of your pendings to show what's going on, and then also the median sale price over a 2-year time frame. I have a couple of sliders down here showing where my active inventory is, my days on market, and my average sold to original list price ratio, and the information associated with that. So the 5-year average is in the middle here, the current month is on the top, and then it shows both the minimum and the maximum, very similar to the gauges that I showed you earlier when I first started the webinar. So you're able to look at this information, and we can quickly see there's a few red indicators. That's typical at this time of year because of the winter market approaching, but compared to, say, a spring market. But you do still have increases from the previous year here in price, even though there's a decrease from last year. Now, if we look at some of the other ones, it breaks it down here, have it broken down by single family home and villa, so the information is listed here to be able to see the difference. And instead of a chart, we have some narrative here that you're able to give to your customers. And like I said, these are great to hand out at an open house or to put in your listing presentation to be able to give to your clients and customers. So again, here's your condo co-ops. You can see here there's two positive indicators. They're both moving up in this area. So again, this report is going to change based upon home type so that you can see the metrics available. And again, here there's the mobile home, manufactured, and modulars broken out. And I can see an increase here, double increase here. But again, there's low numbers. Very few sales are occurring here. And then I also have double negatives here, though, with the new listings. Not a lot of inventory coming on in the market. So again, gives you a good idea as to what's going on, and depending upon if you have an open house, you might want to just print the page that's relevant for the home type that you have with the home that you're holding the open house on. Now, this report also goes back with that same amount of time frame. So again, if you're going on that listing presentation and there's a home for sale in 2006, they purchased their home and they're about to sell their house, you could print that same report so that you can give them the information accordingly to be able to see the information from that standpoint. Okay, so I have a few questions. I'm going to go to them and see if I can answer those right now. Is one able to remove the mobile homes modular from the results of the detached dwellings? Yes, not on the detailed report, but on the local market insight report like I showed, and then also on the interactive charts I'll show you how to do that. What's the difference between new under contract and new pendings? New under contract is a sub heading of the new pendings. Wherever you see the word pendings, it's going to add any status that is contingent and contract together. Looking at the 2013 data, totally different figures. This is confusing me. I'm not sure what ORRA has and where they publish it, but statistics in general are always snapshots in time, and we snapshot the data for each of the MLSs at a different time, and your MLS may also snapshot data at different times, and that's given the fact that somebody might edit a listing afterwards. The numbers are going to be slightly different because of that. So if you have a question specific about some of the data, I'll cover those at the end because, again, like I said, there's various people from different areas covering this. So I'm going over the functionality of the product in general, but I'll go over those detailed questions about your data specifically at the end. So I went over Explore, which, like I said, you want to look for your stories, your blogs, social media campaigns. What do you want to look for, what's going on, so that you're aware of what's happening in your area. The reports, the detailed reports, lots of numbers. The local market insight, a much more visual presentation, but gives the same information, so it depends upon what you want. Great things for your listing presentations as well as open houses. Now we're going to move to the interactive charts. And we're going to spend most of our time here because this allows a different flavor of information that you can work with. There's so much here that it allows a lot of flexibility. We have line view, we have bar view to give it a different look and feel, and we also have the list view, so the raw numbers are available. Most of the time people might take the list view out to an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll show you how to do that. Probably the majority of the time we're going to spend between line view and bar view. We have different time frames down here. You can look at the data in a 3-month view, or you can look at it in a 5-year view. And what I tell people is, depending upon how many items you have chosen over here on the right, will probably dictate if you're going to use line view, bar view, and what time frame you're going to look like. And I'll show you immediately so that you can understand. My 5-year view is here, and I can choose all these different options over here, but it comes extremely hard to be able to distinguish the different items and hover over the value that I actually want. So this might be where I actually switch to a line view to be able to look at trending, or maybe only look at 1 year of data, and then if I have 1 year, I might be able to go back to that bar view. It looks still a little cluttered, so I might actually want to move back to 3 months. So depending upon whether you want to show a trend, that might be where you use the line view. And if you want to just show particular values, that's when you would use maybe the 3-month view and the bar view. So you want to be able to mix and match the type of view that you're looking at based upon how much data you have showing. I can hover over any of the data points to see them, and it also shows me my year-over-year change to be able to look at that information. Now, just for this, for looking for interesting things to do, you might want to choose the 5-year view and maybe look at the line view for this different information. And right here I can see that there's 2 trends. I have my pendings going up and I have my active listings going down. So if I turn off my other items, I might then just look at those for a little while. And I might want to find my story here to be able to talk to other people. So here we had a decrease, hot market here, where the active listings went down dramatically. The lowest they had been in 5 years. So back here they were at 15,000, and then in here they were only at 3,000. So they dropped considerably. They've climbed up a little bit here to 4,000, and that's also normal this time of year for most places to see some sort of seasonality increase. But then also your pendings went up very tremendously, lots of sales activity, and then now they're starting to flatten out a little bit again. So this might be something that you want to share with your clients and customers as well. If you have one item, I'll just choose active listings because that's the most dramatic change. That might be where you actually can show the bar view because it shows a little bit of a roller coaster ride and a little bit more colorful to be able to show people the information that you have. Now you also can have a 5-year view listed here, and because of seasonality bumps you might want to make it so that you compare to the past. So I can switch to my 1-year view, and I'm going to switch back to line view, and I can use this compare to past feature here to be able to just show last year versus this year and take seasonality out. So I can see tremendously here that the number of active listings are actually a lot less than are starting to increase compared to where they were last year at this time. And then I can show all of the different years previously to show what's going on. Or I can take out the middle years and just show 5 years ago where things were compared to this year to be able to show people maybe the health of the market and changes that have gone on, especially with what happened in 2008 and 9. These are great comparisons to show people, to explain what's been changing in the market and the information associated with that. Right? So again, you can look at the different pieces of information and slice it and dice it. With the market activity and the information associated, it's going to look at your counts of your solds, your new pendings, the ones that happened during the month, all pendings, what happened at the end of the month, and again, those are your adding together your contracts and your contingents. New listings, the listings entered into your system, and then the active listing, the snapshot at the end of the month of how many active listings were in your system. So you can look at the metrics for any one of these on your chart. Moving down a little bit, I have the same chart with a lot of the same functionality over here. Obviously the different views and the timeline appreciated. And so now I'm going to go over these facets. That's what we call these blue items over here, facets. So I look at the detached homes. I can look at single family. I can look at manufactured mobile home. And this might be where people explain your buying power. This is a great idea for your social media. I can show here what manufactured and mobile homes are compared to condo co-op and townhouses versus your single family and villa homes. So say I wanted to share this with people. I would like it to be a little bit more colorfully impactful, so I might choose a bar chart. And since there's a whole 3 different options over here, I want to decrease my time, so maybe show just 3 months. And that way people can see what their buying power is from that standpoint, to see what the median sold prices were in a particular area. Now if you prefer average sold price, you can choose that, so you can switch between the 2 here. And so I want to take this chart out to social media. I'm going to click on this share option. We have 3 options here that allow great portability capabilities. I'm going to use the share option here, and in 3 clicks I'm going to have this on Facebook. Here's my chart. You can hover over any of the different data points, and you have the legend down here to explain what it is. If I click on share, there's over 200 social media sites that you can share this with, including just regular email or Gmail. I could print it. I can send it to LinkedIn. There's a whole menu of different sites. Some of these I don't even know, but you can see LinkedIn, even Pinterest, to be able to share these different pieces with the different sites that are out there. The most popular ones are Facebook and Twitter, so the icons are sitting right there ready for you to use. I'm going to click on Facebook, and it's going to actually bring up Facebook for me to be able to work with this. If I'm not logged into Facebook, you may have to log in. I'm already logged in, so it automatically knows that for me, and it's saying, hey, what do you want to say about this? And so what you might say is, look at your purchasing power by home type. And you can add some other things. Pose maybe a question. You want to get people interested, so pose a question with your social media sites. I'm going to go ahead and share this link, and then I'm going to show you how it looks. So in 3 quick clicks, I have that out on Facebook. I don't have to know how it happened. All right, I come over to Facebook. I'm going to refresh my page, and it'll show up as the option on Facebook for me, and I'll show you how they show it. So what happens is the information is shown here. Let me make sure that I refresh. Might take a second. There we are. Look at your purchasing power by home type. It has a little baby snapshot of the chart here, but there's a hyperlink for them to be able to look at more information, because they can, if depending upon a person, they can see sort of here that the single-family homes are higher than the condos, and that's higher than the manufactured mobile. But to look at the details, they can click on the hyperlink. So maybe when you wrote something, you can say, hey, click on the hyperlink to play with the chart. And here they can hover over the different data points. They can see the values, and they can see the percent change from last year. If they're not interested, say, in mobile homes, they could actually click it off in the legend. And they could actually technically click off all 3, but they can turn them back on if that was a mistake. So there's no problem. There's some flexibility there for them to be able to play with the chart just like I am right now. So they can see this information and then contact you, come back to Facebook and say, hey, that was great information. Tell me more. Can you post another chart? Something like that. So you want to be able to engage people on your Facebook page from that standpoint. I'm going to come back over to our site. So again, I have this information here. I'm going to show you how to do that again so that everybody knows how to do it. I'm going to choose bedrooms this time. Maybe you want to show purchasing power by bedroom. I'm going to choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all of those, so that people can see here it costs more the more bedrooms you have, right? But people are always interested in this. And the great part is I'm showing for the county right now, but you can show this for zip codes. This is tons of content that you can have. I mean, if you think of the hundreds of zip codes in your MLS, and if you do 1 of these charts a week or 2 of these charts a week, you have tons of content that you can play with. So I'm going to click on share. And so I have the information here. I'm going to click on Facebook again just to quickly show you. And again, this is Facebook's interface. So I have, you can see right here the URL is facebook.com. I can choose 4 different options from Facebook: share on my timeline, share it with just a friend, or share it with a group. So if you already have groups with your buyers and sellers, you can actually put things in just for them, or you can send it in a private message if you don't want to share it on your timeline. So again, here, look at your buying power by bedroom in Orlando or in Orange County. And again, you can pose a question, what do you think you can afford, or would you like more information, and leave it open-ended so people ask you about it. And like I said, the information right here, I just click on share link and I'm all set, and that's out on Facebook for me. So again, I'll come over to Facebook, show you how it shows up so that you can see how the different things. So again, you don't want to post too many of these things all at one time, because they will show up and If you post 50 of these in one day, you'll be known as the chart person, and it doesn't always have a positive connotation with it. So again, I can click on the hyperlink here as your client or customer. They can come to the site, hover over the different data points, and again, if they say, oh, this is too expensive for me, they can turn it off. Or maybe I have a family of 5 and 1 bedroom is not an option and neither is 2 bedroom. And so then they can just sit and hover over the data points that are important to them. Right? So you can show them that information accordingly. So we have this great button on the share to be able to show that information. Now I showed it that way, but maybe you're going on a listing presentation and the house is a 3-bedroom house and the neighborhood has houses for 2-bedroom and 4-bedroom. So you might just want to take this chart and show them the difference between the 2 and the 3 different bedroom types, because you're going to ask them maybe to sell their house for $145,000 because they have 3 bedrooms, but the house across the street has 4 bedrooms and is going for $230,000. So this shows them and explains to them what's going on. Now I'm showing you information for a county, but you would want to probably break that down by a zip code too, so that way they're able to see the information. So how do I get the information out to be able to put it in a listing presentation? Easy. We have this print export option. I'm going to click on this. We have 3 options. You could just print it in a PDF, but I'm going to use this view graph as PNG. I'm going to click on that. What it does is it creates the chart here in a PNG format. Years ago, everything were JPEGs, JPGs. Now everything is PNG. They're lighter. They're on the overhead, so they don't take as much up on space, and they're much more HTML friendly. So I'm going to right-click, and I copy my image. And I have a PowerPoint presentation all ready to go here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I have a listing presentation, we're going to pretend that, and I'm just going to click on the paste button. And if I was doing a listing presentation for my clients and customers, and maybe you have that on an iPad or something that you're going to give to them, you can bring in a chart and add that information in here, and then that way you can change the title to talk about why homes are priced differently. This is to augment your CMA and to give more credibility so that you explain to people what the pricing is going on in a particular area. So you can build out that information accordingly. Or maybe you wanted to just take information for a newsletter or to send it to one particular person. Here's my email client. I might be doing an email newsletter, and I can take a PNG format anytime and just paste that chart in a newsletter. And if you have another program, maybe you use another Microsoft product or Microsoft Word to create an open house flyer. And so that way you can look at the different information. So you can take this to any different product you want, and then you type in more info to explain it above it. All right, so you can do whatever you want with any of these different charts. Like I said, they have a light overhead because they're a PNG format, so they're not going to fill up somebody's email box. That's what I like about it too. All right, so you have that great format here. The other thing is maybe you need to go on that listing presentation. They actually want to see the numbers, and I showed you the list view and the numbers. If you come over here and you choose Download Data to XLS, it actually brings the information to a spreadsheet for you. I'm going to show you how to do that. So right now I have the information down here. It's created this XLS file. I'm going to click on the file down here in my lower left-hand corner of my browser. And it's going to bring up my Microsoft Excel for me to be able to show the information. So when we first started RBI, a lot of agents told us, I don't want to be an Excel expert. I don't want to have to spend time exporting information from the MLS, inputting it into Excel, and knowing how to do anything. So we made this super easy. So I just, in one button, I was able to open this up and click and be able to get the information. Not only that, but I have the chart. I can just click on paste, and all I have to do is click that information. So maybe I'm going to go on my listing presentation. I could print this out too, and then that way I have the chart and the raw data together. I don't have to be an Excel expert. I don't have to know how to create charts and pie charts and line charts inside of here. We did the homework for you. We did it all. So here's the data for you. If you did know Microsoft Excel, you could add formulas and do anything you want with any of the data. But we also automatically have some headers on here for you and to copyright it, so you don't have to worry about that either. So it's super, super easy and makes everything very, very portable from that standpoint. So your traditional methods of exporting are located here. And again, like I said, you can take it to a PDF to just print it, or a PNG format, or Excel. So I showed you share, I showed you the print export, and I'm also going to show you how to use embed. So what are some other things I could do, though, with some of my data? Well, I might be able to show people by bathroom what they want to do. Maybe they're going to add a bathroom onto their home. You can show them the information in here the same way that I did by bedrooms, and show them the value of their house based upon the number of bathrooms. So again, for your listing presentation or otherwise, but maybe they're thinking about adding on to their house. So you want to show them what their return on investment is for their home improvement. So you could show them the information here, what the value of homes are going for in different ways. Now, I showed you share and I showed you how to get the information out, but I'm also going to show you the embed option. I'm going to click on embed, and this gives me an auto-update version. And what happens is every month when the December, January, February, or future statistics are posted, this chart is automatically going to update for me. So I only have to do this once. If I was going to go to a blog, then I might want to use my fixed date range version, because that way the chart doesn't change on me if I'm talking about it. I can choose my size. This is currently the large size. And then all I need to know is, here's the HTML. I don't have to be a webmaster to know this. I'm just going to grab this HTML and I'm going to bring it over to my website. So in order to do so, I just right-click and I use the copy feature. I right-click on copy. I'm going to come over to my website and I'm going to show you how I do that. Now, your website might differ slightly from mine, and I'll go over some of those different options with you. But I'm going to show you what some of the stuff looks like so that you can see what information is available. My administration panel here, I have an exact site product. I've used this with one of the MLSs that we provide statistics with. And I have my regular titles and everything like that. Here's my actual site, and I have a content editor. So everybody has a content editor for your website. That's what you want to look at. I'll show you the actual site here. Everybody, your websites all normally have some sort of property search and finance tools and then some contact information. But you usually have some options to add some content. And so what I did was I chose a bunch of different things for statistics pages. I'm physically in the DC metro area, so I showed some 5-year sales price trend here, and then I did a year-over-year comparison due to seasonality and some other things. So I'm going to show you how to add this to one of the pages we have. I did a sample here. A sample for a county that is nearby in Montgomery County, and show you the information associated with it to be able to look at the information there instead, and we'll add it to the end of that page. So I'm going to come over to my admin panel, and I'm going to switch my page, my website pages. And it gives me the different pieces of information for my website to be able to look at that information so that I can choose any one of them. And I can cut and paste that HTML into the page. Right? Under your website content, it'll show all of the different information to be able to get that. Let's see. And work on down here. So again, like I said, I grabbed the HTML for this to be able to bring it over. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Scroll down here. I'm having a problem with my scroll, so let's see if my PC is... Okay, I have a few questions, so I'll go ahead and field those while my website comes back. Let's see. To get the reports, we need to go to the mfr.rbiintel.com. Yes, whichever website, and I showed those at the beginning, I'll show them again at the end. Can't do chart changes without resetting all the functions, doing them correctly. I'll check with you about that at the end. Can you share this on your business page? Absolutely. You can share it on your business pages versus just your regular. Have a company page and direct my information to the Facebook page instead of my personal. Can we do it to that? Yes, we can. You can, as long as you're on your business page, you're able to post the information there. You mentioned Microsoft Excel. Does it work with Mac numbers too? Yes, it's a CSV format, so anything that you have there you should be able to work with from that standpoint. Okay. All right, so here's my website. Let me look at my website pages, and I'm going to go to that sample Montgomery County area and come down to my web content editor. So again, this is what my website looks like here from that standpoint. Look at the information. And as I scroll down, I have that web content information. I tell people that they can hover over the bars and the lines of the charts to see the values, and also to turn legends on and off. And then I also tell them that the information is updated on the 10th of the month. Each of your sites are different. The Armless site updates on the 8th of the month. CVR and CAR update on the 10th, and MFR updates on the 15th. Those are each dependent upon your MLS's rules and regulations as to what they've asked for. So it's under your FAQs, and if you need that information, just let me know. I have the information here to show what my buying power is. I show a couple of charts between bedrooms and bathrooms, some gauges, and I'll show you how to do that. Appreciation and depreciation of home value, and then something here about average to original sale price. So I want to add it at the end here. I'm just going to press enter a few times to add my chart in here. Now I grab that HTML, and if I right click and paste, it looks like gibberish. That's not what I want. So you know that there's something different that we need to do. So there's a button in your content editor that's either called HTML or source, and that's what you want, and then everything looks like the gibberish. And so if you look at it from that standpoint, you can then scroll down to your very end, and then you can right paste and put that information, right click and paste, and put that information in with no problem in here. Now I don't want to edit anything here because I don't know HTML that well, and I don't want to break anything. So I'm going to switch back to the design view, what I consider the English view. Right? So I had this chart down here at the bottom, and now I have the median sale price for Orange County. So what I'm going to do is just press enter a few times here, and I can add in a title, I can explain things, I can do whatever I want, and I could just say, hey, this is your ROI based upon home improvement. So I can easily have the information showing here to show people by bathroom what their home value might increase to. So it's a great way to be able to put stuff on your website that is interesting to the homeowner who might not be ready to buy or sell at the moment, but everybody's always interested in that kind of information. So again, like I said, here's the page that I have, how I embedded it. I told them about the information. I have the information here. I can click on and off some of the different metrics, just like I did with when I shared information, so that I have that data there. And then I can hover over the different data points. So it's a great way to be able to augment and spice up your website. So I showed you here how to do it for a chart. I'm going to show you real quick up top how to do it for your market gauge. So we have the embed option here. I can choose any one of these, maybe the median sale price gauge, show them what's going on here, grab my HTML just like I did, right click and copy that HTML out, come over to my website. Again, I switch to that HTML view or my source view, press enter a few times to give it a few blank lines, right click to get it in there, and then come back to the English view, because again, I'm not a webmaster, I don't know that much. Now, you may need to make it so that you can press enter a few times to get things to line up, but you can do that in the English view in your design view. Again, that button might be called source, S-O-U-R-C-E, so you just need to find which option it is, and it might be a button up here where your bold and italics and other stuff is, so you just need to look for it under your content editor. Okay, but once you have it on there, like I said, it's a set it and forget it mentality, just like that corny infomercial. It's set it and forget it, and you're all set. Every month, as each month's statistics are posted, your website will update automatically. I'm going to show you a couple of websites that are out there from some agents Here's one in the Arizona area who's posted their stuff. They told their customers they're real time and they update automatically, and they also told them to cursor over to look at the data. So here's the information in Chandler, Arizona, showing you the information about closed sales and active inventory. They have a chart here on median sale price. They also have some information about days on market and sale to original list price ratio. And again, like I said, you can click on some of these things, turn them on and off to be able to make it so that your people can hover over the different areas and find the information out for them. Here's a site located in Bethesda, Maryland. This agent broke it down by zip code, and then they also broke it down by single-family homes versus condo co-op. Now, they chose to do all their statistics year-over-year comparisons. And why? They said, understand the trending because real estate is seasonal. So this might be the approach you want to take. Totally up to you. I'm showing you a couple of different varieties so that you understand what are out there, and it is up to you. So they mixed and matched some line charts to some bar charts, and I recommend that you definitely do that to mix it up so that everything doesn't look the same. And then, like I said, they also did it for the same zip code, broke it down by the condos and townhomes. And again, they can turn something on and off even with these to be able to look at the actual values and hover over the different values specifically. Here's a website for a broker's website. So broker tends to have a webmaster or somebody. They went a little bit above and beyond and put some other information in here. They took the detailed reports and put them in here, but they also put the charts. They did the charts a little differently. They added a little bit of HTML here that did it so that they could add the line chart, the bar chart, and the list chart. So that's a little bit above and beyond. Most of you are not going to want to go to that HTML level if you're not familiar with it. But like I said, it's possible. But again, this broker set this up a year ago, and it's a set it and forget it mentality. They don't have to do anything again. Again, you can hover over the different data points. You can turn things on and off to be able to look at the information that you're interested in, and then they have it so that they let their people tab through. They also set it up so that they went through the trouble of setting up a page for every zip code area in the DC area. For instance, I could go look at the Georgetown information to see what's going on in that particular area too. So depending upon how much, how concentrated your area is, if you live in a rural area, you might not need this much. But in the DC area, everything's so concentrated that they need to be able to provide the statistics by the different zip codes to show what's going on in particular areas. So again, they showed this information for their clients and customers accordingly. So I'm just giving you a little bit of different flavor to show you what everybody has, and you can decide from that standpoint. So going back and looking at this, if you are in a heavily concentrated area, here's living area square foot. So you might want to show the differences by living area instead, and maybe choose just the thousands, and maybe share a chart this way. So just in the same way that I looked at bedrooms or baths, you might want to be able to look at the information from that standpoint. Or bank mediated. Maybe you're still in an area that's looking at short sales and foreclosures, and you want to look at the information that way. Here's our foreclosures, here's our short sales, and our non-bank mediated. Now this is one that over time I've looked at this with line view. By the way, 3-month line view looks a little silly, so you definitely want to use more time here. And this could also be one where you use the 5-year to show people the health of the market, to be able to show them what's been going on. You can see the valley down here. It's peaking here compared to what it was 5 years ago. And you can see short sales are coming up, and so are foreclosures compared to where they were all back in 2008, 9, and 10. So you want to be able to show people the health of what's going on in a particular area, especially if you're going on that listing presentation and they are a short sale and you know that. You want to include the information to maybe show them the difference between short sales and bank mediated, so that when you're supporting that information with your CMA, you want to be able to show them that difference. So this is a great way to be able to show it. All right. Now, I'm going to reset this information, and I showed you here that you could show the information maybe with a 5-year trend. And here's the peak back here back in early 2000 and late 2008, and now we're showing coming back to that same level here in 2013 with the valleys down here in 2010. Don't forget we had that tax credit in 2010, so almost every area shows a little bit of a false up during April, May, and June of 2010, so don't forget that. So this might be the way you want to look at it, or you might want to choose that 1-year view and use compare to past. And so I can stack my years to show last year versus this year, or maybe I want to show a 5-year appreciation. And here, this is great because you can see how the prices dropped 5 years ago, and then now we finally are surpassing those values. So I can take off those middle years, and this is a great chart to talk to people. This is where things change. So for this particular area in February, the prices are finally have increased where it was 5 years ago. So it's a great conversation piece to share or to put in an e-newsletter or something like that. So again, looking for stories. The other thing is you can compare to another geo. DC area is heavily congested and our commutes are nightmares. So depending upon where you are, you might have that kind of a situation, or just because people don't want to spend money on gas. The price of gas is so bad. So I might look at a different county. So in Orange County, I'm going to choose Seminole, which is nearby. And I'm going to choose a few zip codes that are there. And I can compare some areas so that people can see different pricing and maybe choose based upon cost of commuting or just the different areas. So I'm choosing a couple of different zip codes just to give an idea of where things are. 32779, 32819, and 32836 are the 3 zip codes I chose, and I chose Orange County and Seminole County. So I can see the different pieces of information here. I can see this one zip code is much higher priced. And again, if I want to give this out to my clients and customers just to see and see the price of commuting, again, I could go back to 3 months, maybe just show them the bar view, and then that way they can hover over the different data points. Again, this is a great one to embed. It's the cost of commuting. I showed you the web page I had. One of the pages I did was just about that, and I did that with the market statistics. I'll show you the chart that I have in here. I showed stacked my charts as well as my 5-year trend. Now some of these may make a little bit more sense to you. I showed some other trends down here for the Las Vegas area. We do the statistics for them. So I showed the appreciation value for DC. I did some gauges. I did the price of commuting for out in Las Vegas. I did the median sale price is finally 5 years. It took them to rebound as well. Their valley is here in 2011. So these are great ones to be able to share and put out on your website as well. So whether you're sharing this with social media, traditional methods with e-newsletters, or in a listing presentation or on your website, all of these are available. So don't forget comparing to another geo from that standpoint. And your commute is a great idea to be able to work with. So what do I include with my listing presentation? Again, you want to be able to compare maybe to a couple of different zip codes around the area, because people hear the news usually at the county level, and they don't really hear the zip code level out there. Days on market. How many of your sellers think their house is going to sell in one day? All of them, right? So this is a great way to set their expectation, and it might be maybe by home type. I show them how long things are taking. So I can look here and see how long things are sitting on the market. And it's taking 89 days here for manufactured and mobile versus 67 or so for a single family home. It could be by bedroom. Maybe 3-bedroom versus 4-bedroom homes sell quicker versus maybe 1-bedroom homes. So you might want to see what's going on from that standpoint, or just overall looking at it to set their expectation, because even then none of these are selling in one day. One thing you also might want to look at from this standpoint is looking at average days versus median days. Average days, remember on that one report I looked and told you that you want to take into consideration those anomalies of different reports. And I showed you that there were these 2 properties out here that took more than 2 years to sell. They're going to skew your statistics when you look at average. So one of the things I point out is also to look at median days, because median means half the houses above sold and half the houses below sold for 35 days. So my median days on market is 35 days, but my average days on market is 60 67 days because I got those 2 homes that took 2 years or more to sell in my average. So you want to try and explain that kind of information to your buyers and sellers too, or even for your own personal information and going out to people, telling people how the market is. This is a great way to set your expectations as to what's going on. And even from this standpoint, I can stack my years. It's seasonal, right? So this time of the year, people tend not to sell because of the fact that the holidays are coming up. So versus earlier in the year with spring market, things move a little quicker, right? Another great one to include in your listing presentations is how many people think that their house is going to sell for 100%. Well, that's not true. Here we can show them it's close, 94%, 98%, but everybody thinks that their list price is 100%, right? And again, this could be shown maybe by bank mediated. What if they're a short sale or a foreclosure? This is where some of the markets I've seen the short sales above 100%, and the non-bank mediated properties are the ones that are below 100%. So this is a great chart to show your clients and customers too, because they're hearing so much on the news and they don't know how to interpret it. So this is a great piece of information. The other thing is you know that they have to price it right and sell as quickly as they can. So here's the days on market. I show the days on market and I can show them how quickly things sell and to price things correctly. Now, I'm going to show this to you in a bar chart and I'm going to decrease it to 3 months. And you can see that over time, prices sell for lower. There's a few exceptions in here you can see because of a higher marked price. It could just be that something was on the market then off the market. But you can explain this to them to show that as the price, as it sits on the market longer and longer, chances are they're going to get less. So you want to price it right. So this is a great chart to be a little bit more impactful. You know, you can take off a few of the different items and maybe only show them some of the middle values to make it so that there's less values to show them. So you can mix it up and match it accordingly from that standpoint. So you want to be able to show them the information that's pertinent to them in their area. So again, maybe slice and dice it by the home type to be able to show them the single family and not any of the others so that they understand that things are going here at 95%. So set their expectation. Great chart. Again, print export it to that PNG format and include it in your presentation with PowerPoint. All right. So again, great flexibility and portability to show the information out. I'm going to look at some of the questions to see if I have any others. This is fantastic that the website will update automatically. Thank you so much. We think that that's one of our strongest features because we know that you don't want to come back. Goodness, we don't want you to come back on the every month and have to update this. So that embed function is huge to be able to get the information that way. So please make sure you use it that way and you'll be able to see it. So I went over Explore and Reports and Interactive Charts. We do have some static charts, and you think, wow, I just showed you all those interactive charts, but sometimes you just need to go grab something quick because you have to answer somebody's question. This might be where you want to go because it gives it to you real quick. You can see trends quick because these are 5-year charts. We also have some comparisons here between closed sales and pendings. You can see some trending on price. Here's some trending on days on market. Here's months of inventory. I love this one. Goodness, 24 months of inventory 5 years ago down to maybe 3 months of inventory here. Has the market changed? Absolutely. And I can tell you every single market I've looked at, I do these webinars very often, 3 times a week, and everybody's looks like this. So these are great ones to share with people. And here's your active inventory too to show people where the listings are. You can just right-click on any of these images and copy them out. And just like I showed with PowerPoint or maybe email, where's my email on here? Here's my email. So I was showing you that e-newsletter. I can just press enter a few times here, click on paste, and I've got that chart here, and I can add some information to add that to my email and explain it here, and I'm off to the races. So if you're looking for content, we are your content people. If you don't already have a social media campaign, we could be your social media campaign because we have so much information that you can share with your clients and customers. So I went over Explore. This was where you went for your ideas. I went over the reports. This was great listing presentation information, open house information. And the reports go all the way back. So maybe if they bought their house back when the bubble was or right after, you could print out the report to show them the difference. We spent tons of our time on interactive charts, line view, bar view, data view, slice and dice by data from time frame periods, and then also by all of our facets. And of course, don't forget, compare to past to stack things, and compare to geo to show how things are doing versus other areas. And then portability, here you are, share, 3 clicks and you're out. Embed, about 3 or 4 clicks. You have to know how to use your content editor on your website, but super easy to use. Print export, all set to go as well. Static charts, I'm in a rush, just got that phone call, I need something quick, here's where you come grab it. All right. Here's your quick summary page when we first came in if you're just looking for information or ideas or what you want to look at. Our geo jump bar here to be able to look at information by zip code or by county. Depending upon the area, you might have some other options up here. Don't forget some of the other areas up here. We have support, and the reason I say that is tomorrow you're going to forget everything I said, right? So here's some demonstration videos on how to look at, and like I said, I'm recording today's webinar. We'll add this for you. We have some FAQs. Several of you asked me about how to share a link on my Facebook business page instead of your personal page. Here you go. So we give you the different options right here to be able to look at. All right. We also have some other FAQs. And like I said, contact your MLS. They'll be able to help you as well. Terminology. I say this all the time because you live and eat and breathe your real estate, and other people don't know what some of the terms mean. They may not know what a sold to original list price ratio is. So we actually tell you what it is here. We give you all the definitions. None of these are copyrighted. Please feel free to grab any of these and add them to your website or put them in your newsletters. However you're communicating this information to your clients and customers, feel free to take any of it. Training, you've already done this. You're attending today's webinar. We offer a webinar at least once a month, and so does your local MLS. But please check back if you have your webinar with your, maybe your team members need to attend. We'll be posting the ones for next year very shortly. We're working on the January schedule. And then we also have a recorded webinar, but like I said, I'm updating the one this month because we did a release in October, and there's a lot of new data available. All right, so don't forget this feature here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start answering more questions, but I'm going to turn off my recording right now.